and welcome. I hope that you are all doing well. Thank you so much for joining me here today to talk about books. Oh, and our book today is Gallows Hill by Lois Ruby. And this book is young adult historical fiction. It takes place in 1692 in the American colonies, specifically in Salem, Massachusetts. And if you are thinking that that's during the time of the Salem Witch trials, you're correct. So we have two main characters, Thomas and Patience. And when we meet Thomas, he is on the way from England to the United States on a ship. And he's with his sister Grace. Their father is very ill. In fact, he's dying on the ship. And their mother died years ago. When they land, they are parentless, jobless, they have nowhere to stay, they have nowhere to go. And they don't really fit in with their Puritan neighbors because they are Quakers. Patience has lived in Salem all of her life, and she is trying to be a good Puritan. She's trying to do what's expected of her. So you have to remember at this point in time, women had very few choices and fewer rights. Abigail, Patience's sister, has become afflicted with symptoms similar to other girls in the area. She has what we would today call seizures, but back then they called them fits. She has hallucinations, she's seeing women in the room, and she thinks that they're doing things to her, and she feels tormented. Abigail and the other affected girls believe that they are being bewitched by servants of the devil. And they are women who are outsiders in some way. Thomas and Grace are outsiders. He has difficulty finding a job. Eventually he finds a job which brings him into contact with Patience, and they become friendly, if not at first friends. Their community becomes consumed by fear and suspicion. Among increasing accusations of witchcraft, Thomas and Patience are both in search of the truth. Gallows Hill is based on history, with some characters being historical figures, and others, like Thomas and Patience, additions to help tell the story. It brings to life a part of history in which strangers and those not a part of your group are feared. A time in which roles were well defined, and good people did very specific things and definitely did not do other things. Patience is a Puritan. She has very specific roles to fill and rules to follow. Thomas is a Quaker, and although both are Christians, Patience has heard horrible things about Quakers, and she is wary of Thomas. Both have prejudices about others who are different than themselves. The women accused of witchcraft are all women who do not fit into the Puritan ideal, whether they are single women, women who are childless, or just women who are outside of the Puritan faith. Included in the story are several explanations for the hysteria of the time. I think, though, we should examine the consequences of being forced into such limited roles, especially when the things that you're assigned to do are things that you have no interest in at all. So, what are some other books to read for a similar experience? Trial by Fire by Josephine Angelini. Lily has allergies that threaten her life. They make it difficult for her to have what we would consider a regular or normal life. She's attending her first ever party with her new boyfriend, Tristan. Tristan and Lily have been friends for years, but they have just entered into a new type of friendship. At the party, another partygoer puts vodka into Lily's drink, And Lily has severe allergic reactions to vodka, including high fevers. Because of this, you can imagine that she is not feeling very well. She goes in search of Tristan to have him help her, and she finds him half naked in a room with his ex-girlfriend. So now she's feeling really sick, and she's feeling really humiliated, and she just wants to escape. Suddenly, she is in a very different Salem, one filled with monsters and ruled by very powerful women. Here, Lily's weaknesses give her power, but it's also dangerous because she has new responsibilities that she barely understands and a love she did not expect. Trial by Fire is the first book in the World Walker trilogy. The Ravens by Kass and Danielle Page. It's a YA fantasy. The Ravens of Kappa Rho Nu are an exclusive sorority at Westerly College. They're smart, they're beautiful, they're ambitious, and they're also witches. Scarlet has always known that she's a witch, and she is determined to be her sorority's new president, like her mother and her sister were. Vivi did not know she was a witch until recently, but she is thrilled to be invited to join the Ravens. Her life has been a series of moving from one place to another. Honestly, she would do anything to be accepted into the group. One thing standing in Vivi's way, however, is Scarlet, who doesn't think that Vivi is Raven's material. But a wicked power is on the rise, and the girls will have to set aside their differences if they are to save their sisters and save themselves. The Ravens is the first of a two-book duology, with the second book being the Monarchs. You could read them both, and they're both good. You could also just read the Ravens, skip the Monarchs, and still have a very satisfying read. And lastly, A Lesson in Vengeance by Victoria Lee. Felicity is returning to the Dalloway School after leaving mid-year the previous year when her friend experienced a tragedy. She has returned to finish high school, and she even has her old room in Godwin House. Not only the best dorm on campus, but also a house that is rumored to be haunted by the Dalloway Five. 5 girls who some say were witches way back when the school was founded. Witchcraft is in the school's history, not that the administration talks about it, but everyone knows about it. In the previous year, Felicity and her friend were drawn to darkness and the Dalloway Five. But now, Felicity is going to focus on her studies and put witches behind her. She's even chosen a safe topic for her project. There have been some changes while Felicity was gone. First and foremost, Ellis, a new student, has moved into the Godwin house, and she's in her first year at the Dalloway School. Ellis is everything. She's brilliant and a prodigy novelist. She won an award for her first novel, and she's now working on her second. Felicity feels drawn to Ellis, and when Ellis asks her for help with research for her second book, Felicity just can't say no. This second book is about the Dalloway Five, and Felicity is the perfect resource. When history begins to repeat itself, Felicity is forced to face the darkness in her school and in herself. And there we are. I hope that you enjoyed this look at Gallows Hill and other books that include witches in the story. I'll be back soon when we will talk about The Cherished by Patricia Ward. I hope that you will join me then, and until then, I hope you enjoy all that you do and all that you read. And thank you.